Welcome back, pro wrestling fans, to another edition of Unleashed Wrestling. I am TJ.
And I am Yorkie. And man, do we have a good week set up for you. It is the week going into the Elimination Chamber. And I am so excited for this.
Man, it's an exciting week because this is kind of leading up to WrestleMania. Of course, our next stop is the Elimination Chamber, and after that, man, it's guns a blazing, everything shooting straight towards WrestleMania. And Monday Night Raw was not a bad show, but I'm not gonna lie, it was a little disappointing. But with it being the week of a PLE, they did a good job of setting things up. But there were certain people that are in the Elimination Chamber that we didn't get to see. But maybe they're saving that for SmackDown. What do you think about that?
I think they are saving that for SmackDown. Speaking of SmackDown, The Rock came back last week. And kind of pretty much.
Oh boy, did he!
Wow. Speaking of that, he kind of cut a promo saying, how much he came to appreciate Cody and what all Cody's doing and all this stuff. And he's pretty much saying he doesn't want a match for the title. He wants a match for his soul. And I'm kind of curious what he means by that. As you can see, I'm wearing my Rock shirt tonight.
Yeah, from what I gathered from it, Yorkie, is that I don't think that The Rock necessarily has to have that match against Cody. And I think he's wanting, with him being the final boss, I think he's wanting to be like head honcho. Like, I'm in charge of you. You're going to do what I say. You're going to be my puppet. Kind of like Roman did with
The
Bloodline.
Yeah.
In a sense, kind of that same sense is what I'm gathering from it. But I don't know. It was definitely a little bit of a shocker. I was kind of halfway expecting The Rock to attack Cody because it comes out as a babyface, right? He gets cheered.
Yeah, he gets cheered, announces the
Goosebumps.
WrestleMania,
Yeah, and
next
he
year
just
being in New
flips the
Orleans.
script.
Because he was like, because the
Yeah,
show was in New Orleans. So what better way
exactly.
to announce next year's, WrestleMania location than in the city that it's
Hmm.
in? And, he starts that off
Yeah,
great. Babyface, everybody loves him. And then he just turns out and talks about how much of a crap hole it is. And just, they had to bleep him out
STD
so
infested.
much.
They did. Like, he just completely flipped the script. That was kind of weird to me. Like, why would WWE make him come out to be a babyface and all of a sudden just instantly just turn into this heel that he was last year leading up to WrestleMania? I didn't get it. It was.
I love it. I love it. I
I
do.
mean, I do too.
Like, I
I
love
like
this
The Rock as a
version.
heel. I
I
love The Rock as a heel.
love this version of The Rock.
Oh yeah,
He
I do too.
is.
I do
He
too.
can do just about anything he wants to with this persona that he is doing, and it's amazing. And with the whole selling it, Cody's soul, like this went crossroads so fast, and I love it. No pun intended with the
Yes,
crossroads
yes.
thing, by the way.
No, no, no. You're fine. I get what you meant. No, I love the promo and I love the whole thing, but it was just it's leaving us kind of confused because last we heard Rock wasn't even going to be a part of WrestleMania, and now all of a sudden he comes out says he wants Cody's soul. I, I don't know. We're going to do our Elimination Chamber show in a couple of days and have it put out before that show Saturday because I'm looking forward to that PLE.
Oh, me too.
But I'm also looking
Me
forward to see
too.
what this whole they got a great lineup, a great card, but I'm really looking forward to see what this whole thing with Cody Rhodes is all about. We're supposed to find out Saturday
Yeah,
if he's
no,
gonna
I
take the
think
Rock's deal.
I think it's the Monday after when we have to find out what happens
Oh, is it?
there.
I
Like
thought it
he
was
has
Saturday.
through the
Maybe
elimination
maybe you're right.
chamber to decide or whatever is what he said. So,
Okay.
um,
Okay.
but I could be wrong. They could have to do it Saturday. My interpretation of it is that he has until next Monday to decide what he wants to do. Let's get into what happened last night on Monday Night Raw. From the
Yes.
get-go, it was balls to the walls. You start off with Gunther coming in, walking in like he owns the joint, like his shit don't stink.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then you pan to the audience and the arena, and Michael Cole and Pat McAfee are doing their thing, and then the next thing you know, you hear, "Hey-oh!" and not the Jim Duggan Heyo, the stupid
No,
Logan Paul Maverick Heyo. And, he comes out and does his stupid promo where he dirts on the city that he's in, and he knows he's the heel. And I guess my dog wanted to make an appearance on this one, which is fine. But
he played a great heel, by the way.
he did. He plays a good heel. And as bad as I hate to say it, I love Logan Paul in the WWE. I truly do. He's got the mouth. He's got the charisma, but he's also got that in-ring knowledge. Somehow, some way, he has that in-ring knowledge, and it baffles me how good he is in the ring.
Yep, and he knows how to work a crowd. He knows how to get boos. He knows how to get heat. But like he's a great heel.
He's too good of a heel.
To work a crowd.
He's too good as a heel.
No, yeah, absolutely.
And then
absolutely,
he's in the middle of his promo, and then out comes your boy, CM Punk. And
yeah, boy.
CM Punk did what he does on the mic, does it phenomenally. But I do want to talk about
Destroyed
one point. Yeah, pretty much. I do want to talk about one point during this promo. I don't know if you got to see that part or what, but towards the end, actually it was the very end of this promo, they're face to face, this far apart. Logan goes to turn to walk away, stops, turns back and looks at him and just slaps the shit out of CM Punk.
Oh man, he did. So I didn't get to see all of that because that was about the time I was getting to Georgia, and or getting to where I am in Georgia, and I went and got some food and was sitting in the car watching it as I was eating because I didn't want to miss that segment. And he got the crap knocked out of him, and of course I know it's a show, but I feel really bad for Logan Paul come Saturday.
Oh, I do too, and I don't know if there's going to be a receipt for that because again,
he already said there's one coming.
Well, he said there's one coming, but I don't know if it's going to be like a legit receipt or if it's going to be a storyline receipt.
No, it'll be a storyline receipt. I think that slap was completely planned. But yeah, I don't know how the Chamber's going to start off, and we'll get into that when we do our show, but they've got to give Punk and Logan Paul a moment.
At some point they have to have a moment during... Because, Punk said he's going to be the one to eliminate him. So, I mean...
Yep.
So, that might be the moment. Who knows? But I feel like they set that up perfectly for there to be a mini feud inside of this chamber match.
Yes. Yes, they did. They did.
I don't know if we already know who's going to be 1 and 2.
I don't think they've announced it.
Okay. So, I mean, they could be 1 and 2 and start it off. I don't think they've announced it. Because that's kind of how they're setting it up.
The first match of the night, Yorkie, was Penta versus Ludwig Kaiser versus Pete Dunne. And you called this last week when we did our show that they were going to build up to a triple threat, which you thought it was going to... You said you would be fine with it being on Monday Night Raw. But I think you and I both kind of thought it would be after Elimination Chamber, but they went ahead and did it. They're building to some sort of storyline, whether it's between Dunn and Penta or Dunn or Penta and Kaiser. I think it's kind of weird how they're playing it out, but what did you take from that, man? What did you get from the match?
This goes back to what you had just said with the whole who it's going to come down to storyline-wise. I'm really leaning towards Penta and Ludwig because of how this match ended.
Yeah, me too.
But we'll get into that a little bit because I kind of want to talk about this match and how it went.
Okay.
There were no sides shared. It was a legit me versus you versus you. Nobody really teamed up to help one other person or vice versa. It was straight up, I don't like you, I don't like you, I don't like you, I don't like you, so it was... There was never a moment where they double teamed. And I loved that aspect of the triple threat.
This was one match I didn't really get a chance to watch because this was when I was trying to get up to my room and get everything situated. So I had it on my phone because where I'm staying doesn't have Netflix. So I had to watch on my phone till I get situated. Then I ended up putting it on the PS5 and putting Netflix on that way. But so I didn't get a really good chance to watch this match. I was kind of listening to it. So I honestly can't really comment too much on this match.
Well, like I said, it was one of those. Everybody pretty much got a finisher in, and then towards the end,
Mhm.
um, Ludwig steals the show when Penta was about to do a finishing move pin. Ludwig comes out of nowhere, kind of steals it from him, pins Pete, and then wins or whatever, and everybody's in shock. So that right there is the reason why I think that this match leads up to a Penta versus Ludwig feud.
Yeah, that would seem more
That's the more
logical, I
logical
guess,
route.
than
Yeah.
it is. It is than Pete Dunne versus Penta or Pete Dunne versus Ludwig because Pete Dunne doesn't really have a, and for at least from what I gathered, he doesn't really have a beef with Penta. His beef is more Ludwig Kaiser
Yeah. It
because
really
of
is.
a couple
So
weeks ago him saying, "I don't need your help," and it's I don't know. Maybe they'll do a number one contender for the IC title or something.
maybe, and then who knows? Pete can come out and help Penta or whatever
Yeah, yeah,
because there is signs of that being a thing. Considering Pete's
yeah.
the one that got
I
pinned.
don't see. No, yeah, I agree. I don't see them turning Pete Dunne babyface because he just kind of got over that when he was Butch, But he is definitely more of a loner. He doesn't really need a partner or
Right.
stable or anything to kind
No.
of be relevant. So I can see them doing the Penta versus Ludwig Kaiser match as well.
Which I'll be okay with. Just a matter of I don't know when
Oh
that
yeah,
storyline's going to take place. It won't be a Mania caliber, um, but it will be
no, I don't think it'd be the
it'll
Mania
probably be a
caliber, but
longevity one that leads into SummerSlam or something, or
yeah,
Money
no,
in
I
the
could see them
Bank.
putting. Yeah, yeah, Money Make a big good one. I could see them putting in a Mania just as a filler match, but honestly, I don't think they're going to need filler matches as much as we've got going on right now.
Yeah.
We've already got like four, maybe even five confirmed matches.
So after that match, you get into they've started doing this thing where they do promos in the crowd, and I love it. I
Yeah,
really
which I
do.
like, by the way. I do too.
It's
I do too.
it's different, it's new, and it works because it gets
It
more
does. It
crowd
kind of gives the
interaction.
audience. Yes, I was about to say this.
So I mean, you get the crowd reaction to it. The fans turning around and waving to the camera and all that
Mhm.
stuff, which I love that they are incorporating the crowd more. With
Mhm.
walkouts and stuff like that. But it was Rhea Ripley talking about the match with Io Sky, and then so I mean there really wasn't much to the interview. It was just Rhea saying the same things. I'm gonna win. She's one person that I've never beat, and she's just gonna add her to the list of all the superstars that she has beaten. And then next thing you know,
Mhm.
Io kind of walks into the picture, and they pretty much just have their face off. There's really not much there. Uh, Io kind of says some things back. I couldn't hardly understand her because her English is still
The
very
language.
broken,
Yeah,
but it's
it
getting better.
is.
It's getting better.
Speaking of broken English, I'll tell you what. For Ludwig Kaiser to be from Germany or Austria, wherever he's from, that dude can cut a promo.
Oh yes, him and
He
Gunther
can
both.
cut a promo. Yes, they are phenomenal talkers.
And then we get into the LWO versus the New Day. Um, I kind of called this one from whenever the New Day pretty much turned. It just they
Hmm.
kind of gave that vibe early on, and they've been building up to it slowly, and they've kind of finally uh, broke the seal of the dam on this one, and gave him a match, which I thoroughly enjoy this heel New Day going on. I like their new intro.
Hmm.
I just
I do too.
I love it. I love it. And I hate to say it, but I love it. Like I can't hate them. I cannot hate the New Day. Even as bad as
No,
they
why?
try.
And you shouldn't.
Well, I don't hate them as in knowing their heels. and I should hate them. You know what I mean? Like, I still love the New Day
Hmm. Hmm.
because it's still Kofi and it's
Yeah,
still
of course.
Xavier, and they are just
Yep,
so good. But
they are, and they haven't seen a really good heel run from them in a long time, and I'm loving it too. Like I had said that when they first turned heel, how much I loved it, but I felt like they were, as I did say a few weeks later, that I felt like they weren't taking them in the right direction. But I'm going to retract that statement because they're actually doing phenomenal work with them as heels. I'm
it's
loving them
that
as heels.
slow build that they're doing that makes it so good. And I told you, just give it time.
Yes,
It will
you did,
produce.
you did,
And sure enough, it's
absolutely,
starting
you
to
did.
produce, and it's producing very well. The New Day, they come out and they kind of insult the crowd and do their whole jabs that they do towards Rey Mysterio and
Hmm.
the LWO and all that stuff. Well, by this point, the LWO music hasn't even hit yet. So the LWO gets tired of hearing them talk all this talk and just kind of rush out there and start going to town on the New Day.
Hmm.
Well, they kind of separate that up. Everybody goes to their respective corners. Bell rings. Match starts. It's just a run of the mill match. To be honest, the match itself wasn't good,
Hmm.
but all the before stuff was great. And then you have the match, and then there towards the end, um, Woods and Kingston kind of do a distraction signature finish type thing,
Hmm.
and then
Hmm.
start just beating them up after the bell rings and all that. And the next thing you know, all you see is Dragon Lee come running out to save the day for the LWO. And I was like, oh, he's back.
Yeah.
Sweet. And that right there confirmed that he is back and ready for in-ring action again. And I'm ready for it. The next thing we had was Gunther coming out to cut a promo, but it was weird because he came out wearing his in-ring attire. And I was like, he's not supposed to have a match. What's he doing?
Hmm.
And then he pretty much cuts the promo and is like, well, I talked to Adam Pearce backstage, and that I know that we're going into Elimination Chamber, and that I had this match with Jay at WrestleMania, but I feel like I needed to give the people that I can actually defend this title, and I got to handpick my opponent. And then this goes back to what I was talking about at the very beginning. They brought Gunther, or they showed Gunther walking into the arena yesterday, and then in the background
Hmm.
you could see Alpha Academy making TikToks, and
Yeah, I
Gunther,
did see like that part just a tad bit, but
and then Gunther kind of like rolled his eyes and looked at him, shook his head, and kept walking. Well,
mhm.
he then announces that his opponent is going to be Akira Tozawa for the impromptu match to see, to defend his title against. And I'm like, okay, this is about to be a squash match. Akira's not going to get a shot
Yeah,
in. It's just going to
no,
be, he's going to give him a boot and then give him the 1, 2, 3, and it's going to be over.
yep.
That's not what happened.
That's true. Oh, really? I see. I didn't see the match. So I don't.
Yeah, that's not what happened. What happened there is, he kind of came in with that, oh, I'm got this. I'm going to win. Nothing's going to happen. And Akira actually started fighting and kind of held his own there for a little bit and was doing some cruiserweight high flyer stuff, and kind of made
Mhm.
it a good little match. It was still a quick one, but it was still a good little match. And then obviously
Yeah.
Gunther kind of hits him with some big shots, and Akira, being as small as he is, did the labyrinth, just flipping 3 times in the air before landing after getting slapped and
Hmm.
getting kicked and stuff. And then he's actually putting up a good fight and gets Gunther down for a couple of pins and some roll up pins and stuff. And then,
Nice.
Gunther said he's had enough, and he goes to chokes him out, bell rings. Otis didn't like that. Oh, I missed the spot. He was laying on the ground after he knocked him out, and then pretty much he ripped his shirt off of him, half of his shirt, because the other half was still underneath Akira, and then kind of like insulting him or whatever. And then Otis gets
Mhm.
mad, rips his shirt off, gets in the ring, goes to do a couple of things to him. Then Gunther puts him in a chokehold, and he's pretty much almost out. The next thing you know, Jay's music hits. Jay comes out, saves the day, and kind of pretty much runs Gunther off and is trying to make sure they're good
Yeah.
and stuff. And that's pretty much the end of that one. But it
Kind of
was
building towards WrestleMania, it seems like.
kind of building towards WrestleMania and everything.
Now, this next match I did watch, and that was Dakota Kai versus Lyra Valkyria for the Women's Intercontinental Championship. And it was a really good match. I mean, the first match to determine who pretty much won the title was a good match. So this was just kind of like a carryover, and I was really impressed with this match. About a good back and forth match. I think you called it last week that Lyra was going to win. I did too, but I was really hoping Dakota was going to win. However, Lyra has really kind of cemented herself as to being this dominant woman in the WWE
Oh, most definitely.
behind Rhea Ripley. I mean, she's the second most powerful woman right now in WWE.
Oh, most definitely. I agree with you 100%. You know, and Dakota Kai, she's not no slouch either. She can work
No, not at all.
as good as the rest of them, but her problem is going back to what we talked about last week is all of her injuries and her trying to wrestle
Yeah, the injuries
carefully
have always.
so she doesn't get the spots that she wants because she can't do the moves that she knows she can do because she doesn't want to risk re-injury, and I completely understand that. I didn't really get to
I do
watch
too.
much
I
of
do
this
too.
match, unfortunately. I had to start cooking dinner, and life happens. So this match I really did miss. So I really don't know much about what happened other than who won.
You should go back and watch it because at the end, after Lyra won, Ivy Nile came down and attacked Lyra Valkyria, and she had the Creed brothers with her, and she just brutally attacked her. And she held the title up in the air as to say, "As I'm coming for you." So that may have started or sparked a WrestleMania match potentially, with Chad Gable coming back and all that. So, we talked about this too about Ivy now. I'm not against the idea, but I don't think she's quite ready.
I don't think she's ready either. But I think storyline wise, she'll probably end up getting it, and then they'll see that they were wrong
yeah.
in their writings, and then they'll have to relinquish it somehow, and we'll see how that plays out.
So then we get Braun Breaker versus Dominic Mysterio, which I'm guessing this is a carryover match from last week as well because AJ Styles fought Dominic last week. And I'm guessing this is a retaliation match for Braun Breaker because this is another part of the match. I didn't really get to watch a lot of it. But from what I saw, it was a good match.
I caught the very end of this one. I didn't get to watch the full match. Again, was still cooking during this time, so I knew the match was going on. I could hear it, but I couldn't see what was happening. So I don't know if it was a decent match, if it was just a one-sided match. I could only go off of the notes that I kind of gathered from the highlights. And so, I mean, obviously there were some spots or whatever, but it seemed to me with the highlights that I saw that every time Dominic would get momentum, Braun would counteract the momentum. But when Braun did that, the Judgment Day was at ringside, so they would like come up and try to distract or whatever. And then they pretty much got to a point to where they were tired of having to, interfere without interfering. And they pretty much just interfered and ended the match in disqualification where Braun wins in disqualification, and they just all gained up on him and, just did all that. And then everybody pulled them apart, and then Braun broke away, hit a spear, and then left.
The main event, as you all know, was Bianca Belair and Naomi defending their women tag team titles against Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez. And this match went as expected on my end, but it was a really good match, man. There were several near pinfalls on both sides, and Raquel would come in and break up at the last second, or Bianca would break it up last second. And man, I haven't gotten into a match like that in a while,
Especially a women's tag match.
Yes, it was very good. Like the very good high spots, and I don't mean high spots as far as like high flying, but just
High points in
intensity.
the match, intensity,
Yes, but high points. Yes.
just extravagant things with all four of them in the ring doing whatever, and it was one of those where you didn't know who was going to win. Like they made you wonder, okay, so who's really going to win this match? But it wasn't to the point to where you couldn't watch the match.
No, what? And there's a couple times I really thought Bianca was about to get the pinfall, and I was like, no, 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 no. Um, but
Well, see, I kind of wanted
it ended.
them. I kind of wanted them to win it because that way they go into elimination chamber because both of them are in it.
Yes, they are.
So it would have
But
made more
I
sense for both of them to have the belt still inside this chamber match.
Yes, but for storyline purposes, it made sense to take it off of him because that lets you know that Jay Cargill's coming back either Friday on SmackDown or Saturday at the Chamber. They've played this storyline of her being attacked. They showed you a little bit of footage. That's how this whole match started. Was they showed Raquel and Liv Morgan walking out the parking lot the night that Jay Cargill got attacked. And I said from day one, I don't think it's them. I think it's Naomi or Bianca. So they had to take the titles off of them because of the chamber match, because I think that this is where Jade Cargill is going to come in. And maybe, just maybe, it's Naomi and Bianca that did it, and they turn on Jade Cargill.
Well, here's my thing. It can't be Bianca. Because when it
I don't think
happened,
so.
well, when it happened, Bianca was in a match.
Unless she did it prior to the match. And they just didn't discover her until then.
That could be a possibility too. But I'm just saying, like, she was in a
I'm
match
just,
when they discovered it. So I don't know.
no, yeah, you're right. You're right. I guess I'm just stuck on the idea of Bianca being a heel because of, I feel like she's gotten stale as a babyface. And I've said this, week after week after week. And again, it's not a knock on Bianca. It's just fans get tired of the same thing. Look at Roman Reigns. They booed him when he was a babyface and finally turned him heel. And look what it did to his career.
It turned his career around. He held a title for 3 years. Which,
Absolutely.
in my defense, the title run was stale. I loved the
Yes and no.
character. I loved the bloodline idea. They could have done it without the title, and it still would have worked.
They could have. It was stale, but it was still interesting because Roman wasn't a full timer. He was only showing up periodically. And so you're like, okay, this is when he's going to lose it. Like WrestleMania 39, I thought Cody was going to beat him. And then they
Should
decided
have.
to continue it to 40. Yeah. Then we decided to continue it to 40. I was like, okay, now Cody's going to win it, which he did. But yeah, the title reign itself may have been a little stale, but the storyline that came in with it was not. Very interesting. The whole 3.5 years he held that title.
And speaking of Cody, he did have a promo, and it was right before the main event. But I feel like
Yeah.
this talking point should have been done after talking about the main event because
Yeah.
the way that this lines up kind of gets me thinking that Seth's going to end up winning this chamber match
Uh,
because
I don't want to talk.
because the way this promo goes, Cody comes out. He's like, "So The Rock, The Rock said this to me. I got a lot of things to weigh on." Kind of pretty much in his promo, he was leaning towards that he was going to take the selling his soul thing. And then next thing you know,
Yeah.
Seth's music hits. He comes out and he's pretty much like, "Look, man, we've been through this for years, and then I helped you beat The Rock because of what The Rock did to you last year at WrestleMania and all this stuff." And then Cody pretty much 180s him and goes, "Well, what about when you were with the Shield? You put a steel chair and threw the Shield's back, joined the Authority, and hurt a lot of careers, and then did a whole bunch of stuff like that." And then
Mhm.
pretty much it was a back and forth promo, and that because those two can cut a promo back and forth very well.
Yes, they can.
And pretty much ended with Seth Rollins saying something to the effect of, just think about what you're doing and the people who have helped you along the way. And Cody was left speechless standing in the ring.
You see, it's weird though because WWE the past few weeks have given us these teasers, right? So like the week of the Rumble, we had the CM Punk Cody Rhodes face to face thing, which is a fantastic promo, and not just because I'm a CM Punk fan. I think you and I both agree that that was just like
Oh, that was
one
phenomenal.
of the best promos we've seen. Yeah, one of the best promos we've seen in a while. And then last night they did Seth Rollins and Cody Rhodes. So what's going to happen Friday? Are they going to have John Cena come out, which I doubt it. I think they're saving him for the Chamber. But I'd love to see Cody and Cena go at it one time on the mic.
Well, it is John Cena. So who's to say he hasn't already made appearances and we just couldn't see him?
He's the invisible man, I guess.
All jokes aside, I think that John Cena might have a spot Friday night. Just in the go home show before the PLE and getting it set up. But I wouldn't be shocked if we don't see him until Chamber. So
No. Now, see, so we've seen CM Punk prior to the Chamber. We've seen Seth Rollins, and we've seen Logan Paul. Granted, they're all Raw superstars. Drew McIntyre and Damian Priest are on SmackDown. I get that. But John Cena is a Raw superstar. I was really kind of hoping to see at least 5 of them minus John Cena because his appearances are going to be special this year. But I would really like to see a face-off with all of them in the ring.
see that I would have liked.
Friday night on SmackDown.
They might, but
Yeah.
we'll see going into it. I'm just hoping that it's going to be as good as it's leading up to be.
Yeah, because if the wrong person wins the Chamber, it's gonna ruin, in my opinion, the PLE. And I'm not saying if CM Punk loses, I'm gonna be mad. No,
Yes,
if they
you will.
book Logan Paul to win this thing,
Oh, if Logan
No,
Paul
'cause I'm
wins it,
expecting
that's
John-
going to be.
yeah, if Logan Paul wins it, it's gonna be bad. But we'll talk about our winners and stuff. But I'm gonna disagree with who you think is gonna win the Chamber, and we'll talk about that in our Chamber show.
Which is fine with me, but I got a hunch.
Yeah, I know. It's definitely a hard one to predict. The women's is actually a kind of a hard one to pick too because
It really is.
on one end, you don't want Liv Morgan to win it because they've already had Liv versus Rhea several times.
Stale.
But she's honestly the most. It is, but she's honestly the most. I don't say deserving, but she's the most over in that match probably right now.
Okay, well, you know who I think's going to win it?
For sure. I mean,
Find out on the next show.
we'll be doing our Elimination Chamber show. We may do it tomorrow night. I don't know. I do want to get it up a couple of days prior to the Chamber, and like we said, we are going to do a try. Let me rephrase that. We're going to try to do a post show because where I am, I'm an hour ahead of Yorkie, time wise. So, but it is a weekend. We don't have class on the weekend, so that's fine. But I was able to get our Twitter fixed finally, so I'm going to post that link in this video. And also, if you notice down here, I've been putting some pop-ups with our TikTok and our Twitter handle, so make sure y'all take a look at those.
Follow, like, subscribe, do all the things. It's greatly appreciated, and it helps
absolutely.
us out a whole lot.
Yes, it does, especially trying to get this thing started. The more likes and the more video views we have, the better off we are. So please do that. Make sure you comment down below as well. If you watch Raw, if you disagree with anything we talked about tonight, please disagree. We want to engage in conversation with y'all, but we can't do that if you're not commenting. So please do that as well.
Yes. Comment. We won't shy away from any comments. We'll, comment to just about anyone if it's relevant to what's being talked about in the video, obviously.
Right.
So, with that being said, it's been fun. It's been real. Let's get ready for this Elimination Chamber. I'm ready.
Oof. Yeah, I'm ready too. But we got SmackDown first. So
We do.
We're gonna see how that plays out.
Are you ready? I said,
I'm ready.
are you ready?
Yep. No, I am. I'm ready, man. I'm ready to see what SmackDown's going to bring Friday. Certainly ready to see what the Chamber's going to bring. There's not very many matches, which is a good thing because it gives you more time to focus on the Chamber matches.
Oh, yeah.
Get a better quality match out of it.
Oh, for sure. Well, I guess with that being said, I'm Yorkie,
I'm TJ.
and this is Unleashed Wrestling Podcast. Yeet!